Today, I am marking this day by doing the third in our pod series, Two Brothers Talking. I'm talking to a black journalist for Juneteenth here. I'm chilling. I'm doing some work. You know how it is. What about you?
Oh, you know what? I need to edit it because I just said the talk. I forgot it's two brothers talking.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what about me? I am marking the day by working my ass off. That's what I'm doing. And that's how I'm paying homage to my ancestors and the folks who came before me. But and also, you know, memorializing them and remembering them on this day, and that we're free.
Yeah.
It took us a while to figure it out. Remember, because
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, word was not, and that's why I'm so glad that it's being celebrated because, word didn't pass down. Word
yeah.
did not pass down. We were free in the legal sense, but until slaves heard about it, they were still being enslaved down south.
They were still being enslaved down south because the word didn't get down. And I think that
Exactly.
was probably, obviously, they wanted to do that was purposefully. They were doing it purposefully. But yeah, slaves didn't realize till months and months later that they were actually free. And some people still don't realize that they're free in their minds.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, true that.
I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. And speaking of, look, a lot of people are being free and emancipated from legacy media. You and I were talking about the coverage of the protests, and you said that what did you say that you were monitoring a bunch of different news organizations, and what happened?
Yeah, so I was really sick, so unfortunately I couldn't go out to the protest. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to tune in everywhere I can. So I watched MSNBC coverage, CNN coverage, News Nation. I was watching all angles, and then I was watching you and Joy and Joy Reid and Jim Acosta's coverage, patching in so many different perspectives. And just objectively, your coverage was the best. It had so many different vantage points. It had people on the ground in various locations, really top-notch analysis, and I just wasn't seeing that on legacy media.
Ah, thank you, Ahmed. That means a lot. Yeah, we worked hard, and I've been telling people, if the folks at the legacy media, the cable or the broadcasting places saw that, they were like, "Wait, how are they doing this?" And we did that with a team of four, me and the three people who work on my team. And that we're producing it. But of course, Joy and Jim contributed a lot with their guests and their producers were on. But as far as like producing the show to make sure that it got out, that was my team doing that. I've never been so proud of them. And immediately when I hung up, I called Jim and I called Joy. I said, "Do you guys know what we did? Do you have any clue?" And they were like, "What, Don?" I'm like, "You guys don't know." Like I
Yeah.
was sitting there, I did not talk a lot during the thing. I was just kind of sitting there, and I had my phone, and I was kind of, directing and producing through the phone. And I was like, "Put this video up, whatever. Get this person. Let's lose this guest." And I was like, "You guys have no idea, maybe what we did." And then afterwards, I think that finally it sunk into them because they started calling me, and then they wanted to follow up on it, in the days after, and so I was very proud of it, and I think that's where we're going. We're going independent. We're all going to become emancipated.
Exactly. And also just on that note, like I was surprised by just how much reach it had. Like not I mean, I knew it was gonna have reach. I knew it would be streamed on yours, but you were simulcasting, I think on Joy's channel, Jim's
Yeah,
channel,
yeah,
TikTok,
yeah,
YouTube, Substack Live. So it was literally everywhere reaching millions
yeah.
simultaneously. And I was like, okay, this is I mean that team seriously like that was top notch stuff. So just had to give the flowers there.
Thank you very much, and that's something to celebrate on this Juneteenth. Can we talk about what's going on? Because what is this MAGA rift?
The
Have you?
mag the MAGAs are fighting.
Why, Ahmed? Why am I agreeing with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, and
Yeah.
even like some maybe Charlie Kirk? I don't know what kind of world are we in?
We are in the world where the MAGAs are fighting, and this is some good news on Juneteenth here, where we see the real fractures in the party being laid bare here. Like we talked about with the big beautiful bill, there were some fractures there, but this is something along another line, right? Like Trump has been saying he's an isolationist. He's not going to bring us into another war. It was a core promise he made to MAGA. And that promise and the Bannon wing of the party, Tucker Carlson, apparently Candace Owens, they believe that. They believed him and they don't understand that he lies to every single part of his base and every single part of his support. So what we're seeing is this fracturing. We saw Tucker Carlson taking Ted Cruz to task in a way that I've seen not many mainstream journalists
Did
even
you
do.
see that interview?
Oh man,
Wow.
it was. and it was weird because it's like we have our criticisms of Tucker, disinformation peddler, push white supremacy on Fox News. But this man, I've never seen someone go at Ted Cruz or really a Republican lawmaker in this way. He was really picking apart, asking basic questions like what is the population of Iran, like showcasing that there's an underlying ignorance under the bluster, right?
Yeah.
And just really picking apart every bit of it. And
Yeah.
I think you were talking about it this morning too. I think in your stream,
Yeah.
just the pointing to the theology. Ted Cruz couldn't pinpoint where in the Bible he'd gotten that passage about Israel needing to be protected at all costs. It was just really something that I think we need to see from more journalists, not just Tucker.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. When he said, it's in Genesis, the thing is that I can't remember every Bible verse, like exactly where it is in the
Of
Bible,
course.
right? And or every, so everything that is a quote from the Bible. But I'm not out here saying that the reason that I'm supporting Israel, that's what he says, is because it was commanded in the Bible. Okay, if it is commanded in the Bible, Ted Cruz, then tell us where it is commanded and give us the rationale behind it, behind that commandment, and where it's from. Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it because
And I think look here. I think as a believer, I'm a Christian, but I believe in freedom of religion. That you should be able to serve whatever religion, master, God, or whatever it is that you want. That is your business, as long as it's not harmful. I don't have an issue with it. But I don't believe that we should be governing, legislating, making laws based on religion. We're not a theocracy in this country, and this country was founded on a separation of church and state. And I think this exposed more than just Ted Cruz. I think it exposed many members who are in Congress and Senate, many lawmakers who are operating on the basis that they have to govern through their religious beliefs. And that's a theocracy. That's what
Yep.
we're not supposed to be doing in America. And I think that should be really important to people. They should fight against that. They should, they should ask the folks who are running for office if that is part of their belief and part of their ideology. And if it is so,
Exactly.
I wouldn't vote for him.
Spot on. And that's why it's so important for you as a Christian to say that, to hear it from actual Christians. It's meaningful. I mean, I went to Bible school when I was young. My parents decided to like confuse me, and my dad was Muslim, so he put me in. I go to like the mosque with him sometimes, or I go to Sunday school with my mom. So I learned about both religions. And it's just true when that moment with Tucker and Ted really exposed not only their exploitation of religion, but that it was paper thin, right? It wasn't like there was a deep understanding of the Bible from Ted. It was just a use, a mischaracterization of it to try to push his ends. And I think that was such an important moment. And again, like it was just interesting coming from Tucker. Like I really think that Ted Cruz did not expect like that. What we saw was him being caught flat-footed. He didn't think he was going to go in the Lions' den. Tucker Carlson, right?
Yeah. Stephanie Georgilakis Stephanie Georgulakis in the chat says, yes, exactly, Don. And if we did govern and legislate that way, how would we be any different than these Middle Eastern countries that we have been going to war with for years? We wouldn't be. And that is the whole point of it, is that that's not who we are, and that's not what we want. If they want to govern that way, that's their business. As long as it's, they don't affect us. Okay, fine. If you want to do that and the people there are okay with it, but that's not what we do here in the United States. So you're right. That makes us no different than them. And we're supposed to be a democracy. But Ted Cruz had no rationale, no logic. It was illogical. And not only did Tucker Carlson call him out, but now you have Candace Owens saying,
yep,
Ted Cruz, you're full of shit.
Yeah, no, exactly. Candace Owens, who I think is mid-pivot, personally. I think she started doing some other kind of coverage. She was covering the Diddy trial. She's trying to make a cultural pivot because she's always been smart, although she's been wrong and on the wrong side of things. She recognizes, I think, that the winds are shifting against MAGA. So she's pivoting on a more broad level. That's kind of my analysis of Candace overall. But in this moment, I think you're spot on there on the theological sense. I just want to point out before we move off the Christian angle, it's just for people watching, the Christian nationalism that was in Project 2025 and that moves within Russell Vote, that's why that was such an important moment, because there is that undercurrent that drives a lot of these administration's decisions. So I thought that was a good moment that exposed a lot. And also, people in the chat, I see you popping in here. I just want to say, hit that like button. Everybody in here, hit that like button. It's Juneteenth. Subscribe to some brothers up here. All right, come through, support our independent journalism, engage in the comments, hit the like button. We're out here, doing this
Smash
work.
the hearts.
Smash the heart.
Smash the hearts. Smash them. That's what we say. There we go. See, those hearts
There
are
we go.
smashing.
Yeah, there you
It
go.
affects
Smash
the
it.
algorithm, and more people become aware of our conversation. So what do you think of this? I wonder, when you talk about Tucker Carlson, you're like, wait a minute, my goodness, and I'm agreeing with him. I'm like, is he pulling a reverse Gavin Newsom? Because you know how Gavin Newsom did all the interviews on his podcast, and people were like, whoa. And then I thought about it in the moment as I was saying that. He did the interview that Gavin Newsom should have been doing with Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon.
Yeah,
That's how the interview should
exactly.
have been going, but it didn't. And
Yeah.
so, but now people are back in love with him, considering what happened in California, the National Guard.
Yeah, and I think I've had a lot of criticisms of those pods that Gavin did, and you're right, that's what we would have hoped. And I think yes, I think Tucker, I think what he's doing is he and Bannon and these other types and Candace, they have more of a read on the MAGA base than in this moment Trump does. I really think Trump is surrounded by all these yes men and these sycophants, and I think he's insulated himself in this bubble. And I think Netanyahu is really manipulating him here. I think Netanyahu laid out this plan, and basically the reason why they're doing this, just on the whole broader Iran front here, like Iran's not close to a nuclear weapon. Even Tulsi Gabbard and DNI and the U.S. intel saying they're years away. Yes, they're enriching uranium because Trump left the Obama, the JCPOA. But they're not close. And I think what this is Hezbollah's weakened. Iran, the proxies are weakened in the region. Iran has a moment of weakness. And I think Netanyahu just convinced Trump, like, this is our moment to strike. And initially Trump wasn't on board. And now he's kind of got Trump, like, through Fox News, using Fox News as a tool to promote the war, which is what Israel's been doing. And Trump is getting sold. And meanwhile, the MAGA base is not being sold. And meanwhile, people like Candace and Bannon and Tucker are trying to, through media, also influence Trump. So we're kind of seeing legacy right-wing media trying to influence Trump towards war, and then new MAGA media trying to push him away.
Stand by for a word from our sponsors. Today's Lemon Drop is brought to you by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. It's summer, campfires, late night conversations. People are swapping stories, but lately, one group is trying to control the whole story, claiming that the U.S. was founded as a Christian nation and pushing their religion into classrooms, into courtrooms, and even into our doctor's office. In Arizona, voters just protected abortion rights in the state constitution, but politicians are trying to undermine it anyway. Things like this are happening all over our country. This isn't about personal beliefs, it's about power, and it's all happening under the banner of Christian nationalism. That's where the Freedom from Religion Foundation comes in. They have been defending church-state separation since 1978 in the courts, in the schools, and wherever religion tries to take the wheel. If you believe government should serve everyone, not just the religious right, join them. Go to ffrf.us/freedom or text DON to 511-511 and become a member today. Just go to ffrf.us/freedom and text DON to 511-511 now, because the only story that should run this country is ours, not theirs. Text fees may apply.
Who's going to win?
At this point, I don't know. And that's the worrying part, man. It's like, what do you think? I mean, I think
it's new media.
Right.
I think it's new media
eventually.
I think it is. I think that because that's where his base is. They don't want wars. Look, his base loves him. He's not wrong when he said he's more beloved. I don't know if he's more beloved by his base or whatever. He said that the other day. So I don't know if he's necessarily wrong about that. But his base is not for these wars. At least that's what they said they voted on him for, because he was a man of peace. And that he was going to get rid of these forever wars, as they get us out of these forever wars. Now, the couple of things here. You said you're Muslim. I posted a thing on social media the other day, and I played a clip from Muslims for Trump. And they said that they supported him because he was for peace. He was for peace, and that he was for Muslim lives. And he, was going to get rid of the wars in Ukraine and Russia, and he was going to protect Muslim lives in the Middle East.
Did not happen.
I wonder how those people feel now about that.
Yeah,
And then I
and
also wonder how they feel about Bibi Netanyahu. Let's talk about that afterwards. How do you think those Muslims feel now?
well, just a quick correction. I'm not personally Muslim. I kind of like am more spiritual now, but my dad is Muslim and my mom is Christian, so I kind of have both perspectives. Um, I mean, I do know Muslims and people in Muslim community. They feel betrayed. I think most of the Muslims I know don't never back Trump at all. But I think those communities that did back him in Michigan and unfortunately believed what some of them, what Trump was peddling to them, they were immediately proven wrong with remember he wanted to make Gaza what Trump he wants to make Gaza Atlantic City or something like
He wanted to make Gaza what do you say, Monte Carlo, not Monte Carlo, the Riviera,
oh yeah, the
of the Middle
Riviera, the
East.
middle, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just I think he is just one by one betraying every single constituency that helped get him elected. Any group that he sold he sold a bag of lies to all of them. And I think the Muslim community is feeling betrayed. Those that did back him, the
Except for
Latino
the rich
community,
ones.
except for the
He's
rich
looking out
ones.
for rich people.
He's looking out for rich people, other grifters, right? Like the grifters in Saudi. Like he relates to the Muslim leaders in the Middle East, MBS and the Qatari leaders and the UAE leaders because they're all on the like kind of same grift level. But average Americans and everyday Americans and Muslims and people of faith that trusted him, they feel betrayed, man.
Yeah. Randy G says, "Hey guys, I just became a paid subscriber. No kings, trample Trump." Thank you,
Yeah.
Randy G. Yes, that's what we need. We need more people. Please become paid subscribers. That really, really is important to us. It keeps us streaming. It keeps us telling the truth. We are not corporate media. We don't have the big corporate media, backing. We don't have the big advertisers and sponsors. This is a whole new game. So smash those hearts, smash, 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 and become a paid member, please. Okay? Become a paid subscriber, a paid member. And my mom keeps saying hi. Hi, Mom. I see you in the chat.
Hi, Don
and
Lemon's
our
mom. What's
moms
up?
get to watch us and they get to say hello. So yeah, I'm wondering about that. But also Bibi Netanyahu
Mhm.
has been saying for decades now that Iran was near. It could be 6 months. It could be next week. It could be a year from now. But Iran is very near, coming up with a nuclear bomb and all these nuclear warheads and all these things. And then, as you said, Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence now, I don't know how she got that position, but whatever, that she said they're not near it. And he goes, well, I don't care. She is. I don't care. I believe that they are.
Yeah.
And because folks are wondering why now. And
Mhm.
I believe why now is because Bibi Netanyahu is that's not the only reason, but a big reason is that he is manipulating the conversation and manipulating the allies into falling for maybe a distorted belief that Iran is somewhere near acquiring a nuclear weapon.
Yes, I think that's spot on. And I saw footage as late as 1992 of Netanyahu warning of this imminent, Iran attainment of nuclear weapons. But yeah, I mean, of course, no one wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon, and they were enriching uranium, but Obama kind of stopped that enrichment for a little while or slowed it
Yeah.
during that deal. But the thing is, right now, all objective analysis, most of it says yes, they may have enough enriched uranium to maybe create 10 or so weapons if they wanted to, but there's no evidence that they're currently actively pursuing that. And if they did, it would still take up to 3 years potentially to actually obtain one. So there's no urgent evidence that this strike needed to happen today, the day before negotiations were set to start. So I agree with your analysis. I think Netanyahu wants this war. He's got a lot of other personal political reasons for that. And I think he is manipulated the moment. He disrupted Trump's diplomacy, and he wants to take advantage of Iran's particular weak moment and push regime change. That's what this feels like. It feels like a regime change push.
You think he's playing us? Do you think he's playing the world by saying this, but continuing to say this?
Yes, I think he is. Obviously, I think Iran's a bad actor in the region, and I don't. I'm not a fan of Iran
State
at all.
sponsor of terror. That's
State sponsor of terror.
Yeah,
like we all
absolutely.
agree. But I think objectively, we know that they're not days away from weeks or even months away from a nuclear weapon. And I think he's pushing propaganda here to justify this regime change. They were attacking the Iranian broadcaster, the state TV. How does attacking Iranian state TV impact their nuclear program? The scope of the strikes tells me this is a push for a regime change. They want to once and for all. They have plans that apparently Trump pushed back on to take out the Ayatollah. Like it's Netanyahu wanting to push regime change. They really, after October 7th, Israel's really they're not learning lessons from Iran from America after we were attacked. You get emotional and then you do too much, and now you want to wipe out all your enemies all at once. That's what's happening. And I just hope cooler heads prevail. I can't believe cooler heads includes Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. Like, oh.
It does. I mean, that's the crazy world that we're living in right now. But what is the solution? I don't know. I think, look, is the solution to somehow, I don't know. No, I ain't even going to say that. Somehow, like, bring in the Tucker Carlsons of the world, but I don't believe that. I don't trust Tucker Carlson, nor Candace Owens. But in this moment, they do happen to be speaking the truth, and I think it's right. We are right not to trust that because we've seen them be bad actors before. Look at all the stuff that Tucker Carlson said when he was on Fox News. You know what I'm saying? And now he's actually actively criticizing Fox News. Did you know that? Saying that they just gin up their elderly viewers and get them angry sitting in front of the television all day. And he said that they were so disingenuous and they were bad actors. That's according to Tucker Carlson, who worked for Fox News for quite some time and made gazillions of dollars over there.
Yeah, and he said the Murdochs for some reason feel they have a vested interest in pushing America into foreign wars and foreign entanglements that weaken us. That is.
You think that's money? Well, probably.
Maybe it's money. It's ratings. War is ratings, right? For Fox, right? I don't know exactly what the motivation is there, but the Murdochs like it, and Tucker's of all people revealing that to us. It's wild. And you're right. It's weird to be hearing truth from them, but I think that's what makes it more effective. And obviously, Tucker specifically, I do question his motives a little bit because obviously, Iran is an ally of Russia. So, and Tucker's always been kind of pro-Russia, right? So I don't know what Tucker's got going on there, but what he's saying is true. And what Candace Owens is saying is true. And I think with people in mainstream media and I call it sane stream media, and then it includes the wider group. It includes us independents. The sane stream media versus with also some of these MAGA media, people pushing this truth, I think it'll influence public opinion.
Yeah. Are you paying attention to anything in pop culture right now? Did you pay attention to the Tyler Perry story?
I saw the Tyler Perry story. I'm looking at the Diddy trial. What do you, I mean.
That really bothers me. It just seems to me, I don't want to disparage the person who is accusing him, but it seems like a money grab to me.
Yeah. I mean.
It doesn't seem like there was any, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, some of these new ones that pop up, and again, you have to take them in a case by case, like Jay-Z's, for example, too, right? That one ended up being a money grab, right?
And I was right about that because people are like, you don't know, Don. And I'm like, I'm not seeing it here.
Yeah, you're right about that, too. So I really just think in these instances now, like, you can't just jump and immediately think that something like this could be credible. Like, you got to wait to see how this one plays out and how the other ones do. But I agree. I think it could be easily just like the Jay-Z one. We never know.
Well, I think that obviously that you need to take all of these things seriously. I don't believe when someone said believe all victims. I'm not saying that. I don't think that you should believe all victims. I think you should take all victims and all allegations seriously.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to be, you need to give everyone involved the benefit of the doubt. But also, I think, and wait for it to be adjudicated or whatever it is that's going to happen. But remember, in this country, we are afforded due process and innocent until proven guilty, right? Innocent until proven guilty. Because right away, people are like, he did it. They were saying the same thing about Jay-Z. And you remember Jaguar Wright. And it was like, Jaguar Wright knows or knows. It's like, you don't know that. And then as it turns out, none of it's true. And Jay-Z has not come up in the Diddy trial at all.
No, exactly.
None of it.
Exactly. And that's why it's important to be cautious because the Jay-Z one was it ended up being totally nothing, right? And it's like, and you come for someone like Jay-Z, a black, icon in our community, like someone who, if he were to, like, he's one of the last ones, that hasn't been hit by something like this, right? Like, it's you gotta be skeptical. You gotta be skeptical, wait for the facts to bear out. Diddy though, Diddy did all that shit. Diddy did everything he's accused of. All right.
I know, but are they proving their case is the thing. And
Yeah.
is he, because some folks are saying that Diddy might get off because they don't believe that the government is doing,
Yeah.
a good job of proving their case. We'll see. I don't know about that. I'm not in the courtroom. But as I watch all the legal shows, I'm like, oh,
Yeah. There's some stuff, and people are saying they're being a little too gratuitous too, because they're talking about more of the freaky stuff without necessarily tying it to the criminality. And we'll see. I don't know. I think a New York jury might, I think they might put him away. I mean, there's so much the Cassie stuff. It's just, and I think
a
what
New
the
York
defense.
jury. Oh man, a New York jury is going to say New York jurors have seen some freaky stuff.
No,
They're going to be
true,
like,
true,
everybody's freaky. I'm messing around, but
not true. Hey, maybe you're right. Honestly, though, yeah, Diddy specifically. It's just like on that. I'm so I'm not shocked, but it's just like, how could that have gone on for so long and have so many people know? Like on this, like they knew. Remember, I look back at all these interviews. There was a Conan interview. There's all these interviews where celebrities are dropping hints. It's just like, I hope these kind of cases leads to more situations where celebrities and people who see this stuff speak out in real time. Like, we cannot have another Diddy. We cannot have another Jeffrey Epstein. Like, we need people to speak out in real time.
Yes, I agree with you. And in real time, but a lot of folks are afraid to do that, to speak out in real time right now, especially in this environment. What are you looking at? What what's on your radar? Maybe not in the zeitgeist right now, but what is of interest to you, Ahmed Baba?
Well, I'm always on top of Project 2025 stuff, so I'm always paying attention to Russell Vogt and the little maneuverings he's doing, to make sure that he's continuing the Doge effort silently behind the scenes. It's one thing I keep an eye on. Obviously, just the protest movements. I think that didn't get enough coverage, so I've been trying to write about that as much as I can and talk about, because literally there was the assassination attempt and then the No Kings protest kind of stopped being covered. But mainly one of the things I'm keeping an eye on is the quiet stuff the Trump administration doesn't want us to know about.
Yeah.
The maneuverings behind the scenes.
Good for you. Randy G says, I'm getting a flat spot on my thumb from smashing the hearts. Thank you.
That's what we
so
like
much.
to see.
Yeah, we like that, Randy. By the way, I get so many people, women are like, wait, who's this Ahmed Baba? I'm like, not available. Sorry.
No, not available. I'm sorry, guys. A month ago, it's done.
Oh, you got married a month ago?
Yeah, it just happened. It literally happened the week after before our first pod, man.
Wow. Did you tell me that?
No, I said I got married, but I didn't say it. I didn't say like how recent, but it was like really fresh.
Yeah. So are you ready for kids and the whole thing, Ahmed?
Yeah, we're actually I'm actually going on my honeymoon next week, so I was gonna let you know off camera we're going to Italy, so I won't be able to do the pods for a few weeks. But I think out of that, I'm gonna come back. We might have a baby coming down next year. I'm gonna come back fired up, ready to do some more work, man.
TMI, man. TMI.
A little bit too much, I could have alluded to a little less TMI there, but we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna do some relaxing. The authoritarianism will still be here when I get back, but I'm gonna try my best to relax a little bit.
Well, congratulations to you and your new wife, and let's hope that there is a little Ahmed Baba somewhere, or Ahmed Baba. I don't know what you say somewhere. So happy Juneteenth to you. Thank you, Ahmed. I'll see you soon. All right.
Yes, thank you for doing this, and everyone hit that like button, and if you haven't yet, subscribe. All right.
Subscribe. Become a paid subscriber or a paid member. All right. And then I'm going to see you back here at 5 p.m. Eastern time, live at 5. I'm not, well, here I can do a Substack live as well, but live on YouTube, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So everybody take care. Okay. Bye, Ahmed.
Okay. Take care.
All right. Take care. Happy Juneteenth.
Yeah. You too, man.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, Thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.